It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Wednesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. A Wednesday evening that finds the Jacksonville Jaguars returning back to work earlier today at the Miller Electric Center to get ready for the Las Vegas Raiders. You got the 3-11 Jaguars, the 2-12 Raiders. Combined records of 5-23, and yet despite that, a game that has a lot of importance. Obviously not when it comes to the playoffs, but when it comes to draft positioning in the month of April. So we'll talk a little Raiders and Jaguars. In fact, we will go out to Las Vegas in the 9 o'clock hour. Our guy when it comes to the Raiders is Adam Hill of the Las Vegas Review-Journal. And we'll kind of get the Raiders' perspective on this. You had Raider fans on Monday night holding up Shedeur Sanders signs in the crowd. So you know where a lot of that fan base is over these last 3 games. What about the Raider players? Are they playing for Antonio Pierce's job? We'll talk about that from the Raiders side of things with Adam Hill of the Las Vegas Review-Journal. That comes up in just a moment. From the Jaguars side of things, Leon Searcy, former Jaguar Pro Bowl offensive tackle. You get him every day on prime time, and you get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. We'll review the loss to the Jets. We'll preview the Raider game, and we'll look big picture. Futures of Trent Baalke, Doug Peterson. We'll talk a little Brian Thomas Jr., talk a little Brenton Strange, and we'll do that with Leon Searcy. That comes up in less than 15 minutes. Also, Mike Patton, who is the host of The Touring, the AFC South podcast, will join us. And you look at the division. Well, the Texans are division champions once again. I think they're division champions by default because everybody else in the division is bad, if not awful. But Indianapolis is Shane Steichen already on the hot seat just 2 years in. It appears Tennessee has benched Will Levis, likely for good, in Nashville. And, of course, you have the absolute disaster here with the Jaguars. So, needless to say, there is a lot to get into when it comes to the AFC South. So, again, Mike Patton, the host of The Touring, the AFC South podcast. He will also join us later on tonight here on Hacker After Dark. So, we're absolutely loaded. We are glad you are with us. Every night here on HAD, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night. And Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal. It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
You know, when it comes to the Jaguars, Doug Peterson earlier today announced that both Trevor Lawrence and Evan Ingram had surgery to repair their separate shoulder issues. Surgery took place on Monday. Both guys are obviously starting the recovery process, and both guys should be good to go by the time off-season workouts begin in April. And look, we're going to break down the next 3 games. You got the Raiders this week. You got the Titans for the home finale a week from Sunday, and then you end with Indianapolis. And there'll be time to talk about those 3 games individually. But I think at this point as well, you start looking to the offseason a little bit. I mean, keep in mind, free agency, things of that sort are less than 90 days away. Mid-March, right? 3 months from now, we will know what a big makeup of the Jaguar 2025 football team looks like. So I wanted to take a brief look ahead at some things to be positive about for 2025. Because I do believe there are things to be positive about when you start thinking about the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2025. Now, I know a lot of us hope that that does not include Trent Baalke and Doug Peterson. That has yet to be determined, obviously. I would seriously doubt that both guys are back. I would say it's a 50-50 shot that neither guy is back. We'll see. But I know if those guys are gone, again, nothing personal, but obviously it's not working here. You, the Jaguar fans, at least a majority of you, would be excited in and of itself if it meant Peterson and Balky were gone. Who cares what the roster looks like after that point? Fair enough. But you look at the Jaguars and what's at their disposal this offseason. They roughly have somewhere in the neighborhood of $44 to $45 million of cap room, which is what they currently have. That doesn't even take into account contracts that they could potentially restructure, guys they could cut to save money. The Jaguars have money to spend this offseason. As it stands right now, the Jaguars also would have 6 draft picks inside the top 130 picks in the 2025 draft. Remember, they got a 3rd and a 4th rounder from Minnesota last year. So they have 1-1, 1-2, 2 3s, and 2 4s. So you're looking right now at 6 picks inside the top 130. When you combine the amount of cap room that they have with the amount of draft picks that they have, it's pretty good, right? Certainly cause for optimism. And then you talk about the young guys, whether it is Brian Thomas Jr., obviously, whether it is Brenton Strange or Tank Bigsby or Parker Washington or Ventrell Miller, Jarian Jones. Obviously, Trayvon Walker's not very old. He just turned 24 today, as a matter of fact. The cupboard is not bare. This season has been a nightmare. This season has been a disaster of epic football proportions. Maybe the most disappointing season in Jaguar history. Certainly in the conversation. But the cupboard is not bare. A couple of tweaks here and there. You get lucky in the draft. Again, 6 picks in the top 130 the way it stands. This is easily correctable to where you could be competitive again for a wild card spot, if not a division title next year. The question is, will Jaguar owner Shad Khan do what needs to be done to achieve that? Because I don't like the current path the team is on. I'm not breaking any news there. They've lost 16 of their last 20. Things are not working. Things need to be changed. And if the right changes are made, you'll see a lot of right changes when it comes to the win-loss record. If it stays the same old, I'm afraid you're going to continue to see the same old when it comes to the win-loss record. But the bottom line, it's going to be a really interesting offseason. What are the futures of Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram? Remember, there were rumors that Kirk was on the trading block prior to being injured. Will he be back? Will he have to take a pay cut? Because it's obvious Brian Thomas Jr. is your wide receiver 1 now, and there's no debate about that. What does the future for Evan Ingram hold if Brenton Strange continues to play well over the next 3 games? Remember, Evan Ingram is now 30 years old. A lot of veteran guys. What do their futures hold? The interior offensive line, right? Brandon Sheriff, is he gone? Will Mitch Morse be back? He's 33. It has the potential to be a really active and a really interesting offseason. The question is, from a Jaguar fan standpoint, and quite frankly, to be honest with you, a majority of Jaguar media, will the offseason get off on a right start? And with a right start, we obviously know what that means. Change at the top. That will add to the intrigue if change is made. If change is not made, that will take away from some of the intrigue. No question about that. And we should get that answer soon. I mean, keep in mind, January, 5th, 6th is Black Monday. We are 19 days away. 19 days. That would be the day anything would happen, one would think. And then do we go through the whole song and dance of a head coaching search? Remember, it took 31 days the last time to hire Doug Peterson. I really hope a coaching search, if it happens, doesn't take that long again. Should happen pretty quick, because I would think Shad Khan, if he's going to make a switch, if he's already got to have a short list in mind. And one would think Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen, Joe Brady, maybe Mike Vrabel, maybe Aaron Glenn, Jesse Minter, all the normal guys that we've talked about for the last couple of weeks. That's the benefit of having an awful team this year, as we've kind of gone knee-deep already into the offseason look. We haven't talked about the exact free agents they need to bring in. That'll come. That won't be that long down the road. We haven't dived into exactly what they need to do in the draft, but we do know that they would have 6 picks right now in the top 130. This can be fixed quickly if the right changes are made. But we still have 3 games to go. And that begins this Sunday in Las Vegas against the Raiders. Again, combined records of 5-23. Players want to win this game for both teams. Coaches want to win this game for both teams. You know, when I sit here every night and I talk about the idea of losing games, you say, oh, Hacker, that's ridiculous. They don't want to lose games. Well, I know they don't. They being the players and the coaches. I am very much aware that they are trying to win. My question to you is, do you, the Jaguar fan base, do you want them to win? Shoot me a text on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, because I'm genuinely curious, because I talked to people out in Las Vegas this week. In fact, we're going to have Adam Hill on of the Las Vegas Review-Journal coming up in about an hour. I've talked to some other people that cover the Raiders. There are not a lot of Raider fans that want them to win. They want Shedeur Sanders in a very, very bad way, and they know the only way they can get Shedeur Sanders is if they continue to lose games. They're pretty open about the fact that they want their team to lose out there. Do you want the Jaguars to lose? Or, as the saying goes, which I think is one of the most ridiculous sayings in sports, but we hear it every year, do you want them to build positive momentum going into the offseason by winning absolutely meaningless games, of which probably 40% of this roster playing in these games will not even be here in April? I've told you my thoughts. Young guys, do great like you did last week. Brian Thomas, Brenton Strange, Tank Bigsby, Parker Washington. Entertain us. Make it an enjoyable 3 hours. In the end, if you lose the game, I'm going to think that's a pretty good day. Now, I don't want them to lose 50-0. I would think that would suck, right? I don't want that to happen. But if it's a 34-31 back and forth, young guys performing well battle, kind of like last week, sign me up for 3 more of those. And under that scenario, sign me up for 3 more losses. What say you, Jaguar fans? Hit me up on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, 641-1010. Let's talk to a former Jaguar. Let me ask him. Leon Searcy is one of the best Jaguars that's ever played here in Jacksonville. What does he think about the next 3 games? You hear Leon every day on Primetime. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. It is a Wednesday evening in Jacksonville, Florida. We're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Leon Searcy joins me next.
He's mastered the art of incognito.
Charming, sophisticated secret agent.
Hayes Carline takes you behind enemy lines. 5 hours before kickoff on 1010XL. Brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Hi, this is Jeff Norman.
And I'm Mike Jones.
And we are the owners of Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning.
With the holiday season upon us, we want to take a moment to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and say thank you to our amazing customers.
We're so grateful for the trust you place in us each year. It's been a pleasure serving you, and we hope you have a wonderful holiday season with family and friends.
And remember, if you have any issues, we'll be here to help throughout the holidays and beyond.
Merry Christmas from all of us at Duck Duck Rooter.
For 79 years, each Gator Bowl game wrote a chapter in a story filled with excitement, celebrity, and a touch of drama. The game has seen iconic coaches like Bear Bryant, Vince Dooley, and of course, Bobby Bowden. Football stars like Larry Zonka, Archie and Peyton Manning, and Michael Vick. The 80th chapter features Duke and number 14 Ole Miss. Thursday, January 2nd in primetime on Bill Gay Grounds at Everbank Stadium. Tickets on sale now at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com.
Welcome to Rockville. North America's largest rock festival returns to the Daytona International Speedway in 2025 with Green Day, Korn, Shinedown, and Linkin Park. Plus Bad Omens, Incubus, Good Charlotte, Rob Zombie, Alice in Chains, Pierce the Veil, Marilyn Manson, 3 Days Grace, Sublime, Hailstorm, I Prevail, Three Doors Down, Jimmy Eat World, Motionless in White, Bush, Chevelle, Mudvayne, and so many more. Welcome to Rockville takes over the Daytona International Speedway May 15th to the 18th, 2025. 5 stages, 4 days, and over 150 bands. 4-day, single-day camping and VIP passes on sale now at welcometoRockville.com.
Jags Hall of Famer Tony Baselli puts on his gold jacket every Monday morning at 7:20 on The Drill.
Does look good.
It's Hall of Fame Monday with Tony Baselli.
Good? It's great.
Brought to you by Heritage Roofing of North Florida on 1010XL.
The Sawgrass Marriott Golf Resort and Spa is the perfect place for indulging in a pampering spa treatment. This holiday season, give the gift of wellness with a gift card and take advantage of the spa's current promotion. With the purchase of a $75 gift card or more, guests get a credit towards a future service. With healing massages, revitalizing facial treatments, and more, a day at the Sawgrass Spa makes the perfect gift. Purchase in person at Sawgrass Spa during operating hours.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Zahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Googan Nation, it's Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here to tell you this is no dream. The folks at Dreamfinders Homes right now have an unbeatable interest rate for you. You may not think you can afford a Dreamfinders home. Well, think again. Take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. I said it, 2.99%. 15 Jacksonville communities to choose from. Find that dream house and take advantage of an unbeatable rate. Move now, literally. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Atlantic Self-Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need to make room to watch football in your home or need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self-Storage. Over 50 locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access, all with month-to-month leases. Moving? They can help with supplies. They make storage easy. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com or call 877-WE-STORE to find a storage solution near you. Go Jags!
How far is it from the surface of the earth to the core of the earth?
Is your home your most valuable asset? It is for most of us. And Southern Oak Insurance recommends an annual review. Log on to southernoak.com for more information.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
From the surface to the core of the earth is about 1,800 miles and has a temperature of over 9,000 degrees, hotter than the sun.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours. If you're looking for custom metalwork, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Whether it's custom railing, shade structures, or custom entry gates, their expert team controls the turnkey process. From CAD design and raw metal to powder-coated finish and expert installation. When you choose Superior Fence and Rail for your custom metal project, you get a project that's, well, superior. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Raiders this Sunday, 4 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. 2 hours after the game ends, we will have the fifth quarter for you. Of course, the Jaguars come in at 3-11. The Raiders are actually worse at 2-12. Combined records of 5-23 for this contest on Sunday afternoon. With that, we welcome in my friend Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You hear him every day on Prime Time, and you get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Leon, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, bro, until you said those records.
Yeah. Look, the fifth quarter you and I are going to have will be stimulating on Sunday evening. It'll be a late fifth quarter, too, because it's a West Coast game. You and I haven't spoke since the Jets game, obviously. You had a little vacation. So I'm curious, your thoughts after watching it. Offensively, Leon, it was at least fun, right? They looked like they did some wrinkles. Brenton Strange had a career game. Brian Thomas Jr. had a fantastic game. What were your thoughts on the offense this past Sunday?
Well, I mean, like you said, Hack, Mac Jones scrambled around, extended plays, got first downs. We ran the ball effectively, over 100 yards with ATN and Bigsby. Strange had a career, like you said, a career catching during the game. Brian Thomas, over 100 yards, sets the Jaguar record for the most touchdowns by a rookie. Offensively, offensive line was okay, gave up 2 sacks, a couple of holding penalties on Anton Harrison. Those are the technical things that he needs to work on. But offensively, it still comes down to the mistakes, the turnovers. Unwarranted interceptions at opportune times. And this Jaguar team had an opportunity to actually tie the game and go into overtime. And then, Mac Jones throws an interception, wasn't pressured over through I believe it was Parker Washington on that play. So just the same old. It's the same song that we've been singing all season. This team self-destructs in opportune moments when they got chances to win games, and that's just unfortunate.
Leon, the season's been a nightmare, a disaster, whatever verbiage you want to call it. It all would apply. The one shining light, though, the one shining star in the sky of darkness of the 2024 season, at this point is clearly Brian Thomas Jr. That guy's in the top 10 for, yardage, touchdowns, and he's only 20th in targets in the NFL, which means he's doing more with less opportunities. I talked about this earlier this week. He's going to be in the top 30 by the end of the year in Jaguar franchise history for both catches and yardage after 1 year, which is absolutely wild to think about. 3+ decades of Jaguar football.
Yeah, that's pretty sad, to be quite honest with you. But, hey, he's a phenom. I mean, I was hoping when we drafted him that he would carry on the lineage of LSU wide receivers. LSU wide receivers are known that when they come in the league, they're superstars. And I think this kid has an opportunity to be a superstar. At the beginning of the season, I said, hey, listen, if he gives me 60 catches, 1,100 yards, and 8 touchdowns, I'll be happy. I mean, he's going to supersede all that. So he's going beyond the expectations that I have for him as a rookie. And he's coming into his own. You can see the confidence in him and his route running. It doesn't matter who he's on. I mean, listen, he had a perennial All-Pro on him the whole game, and he didn't care. I mean, you're talking about Sauce Gardner that was on him vast majority of the game, and he was still running by him, still making catches. So, I mean, that lets you know that the kid is fearless. doesn't matter who's on him, he's going to go out there and make plays, and it was good to see him make plays on Sunday.
Leon Searcy was a Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's with us here every week on Hacker After Dark. Leon, the emergence of Brenton Strange, 11 catches, 73 yards. By the way, 11 catches on 12 targets. So Strange caught darn near everything thrown his way on Sunday. And to a lesser extent, the emergence of Parker Washington. He's not given near as many opportunities because of Brian Thomas, but I still like what we've seen out of Parker. Cheaper, younger. The NFL's a business. And with what Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram are making, you look at Washington and Strange. Does that give you pause as to the futures of Kirk and Ingram here in Jacksonville?
It's unfortunate, but that's the one great thing about, these last couple of games. You're going to make business decisions, and those guys, Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk, if the continued success of Strange and Parker Washington is going to make those two guys more expendable. And they're going to have to make that kind of decision because, like you said, cheaper, younger, and those guys are, wildly vets who are making, a boatload of money. So, yeah, it's the business of the game, and it's just unfortunate that they're on the wrong side of the coin.
Defensively, it was a disaster again on Sunday. There are so many issues with the defense. I want to begin up front. Leon, Roy Robertson Harris has not played a game for the Jacksonville Jaguars since London. We're talking 9 weeks ago, and he's still tied for third in sacks with 2 on this team. He was third by himself until Jeremiah Ledbetter tied him on Sunday. You and I and everybody that's had a microphone in front of their face, and every fan for that matter, for 2 years now, has talked about they have nothing to affect the opposing quarterback behind Hines Allen and Walker. And if that isn't proof of that, Harris hasn't played here in 9 weeks, and he's still third on the team in sacks. That is absolutely ridiculous.
It is. It's sad, to be quite honest with you, that we can't get any pressure interiorly. And not only can we not get any pressure, we get swallowed up when it comes to double teams on run plays. So they're ineffective in pushing the pocket, and they're ineffective in holding their gaps as far as the running game goes. So, you got to get a disruptor. Eric Armstead has been a disappointment. He absolutely has. You're talking about a guy who's 6'7", 300-something pounds, and he's getting old. He's long in the tooth. He's not the disruptor that I remember that came here with the 49ers a year ago. So you've got to get younger. You got to even more. Mason Smith is just a guy right now. He makes a couple of plays here and there, but he's just a guy. He's not the type of player that you got a game plan against. We need someone that you got a game plan against. We need a phenom in the middle that can be a disruptor on the passing game and can make tackles for loss in the run game. And we don't have that. We just don't have that. And it's sad to say.
Couple of more for Leon Searcy. He's with us here every week on Hacker After Dark. Of course, you hear Leon every day on XL Primetime. To the secondary. Leon, blown coverages in the NFL happen, but they're few and far between, right? They don't happen very often, or at least they're not supposed to happen very often, unless you're talking about the Jaguars. And they seemingly happen here every week. You can go back to Tyreek Hill in week 1. You can go back to Buffalo on Monday Night Football. Dalton Schultz with the Texans, Jaden Reed with Green Bay, and on Sunday, both Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams. How do the Jaguars secondary, the coaches, the players, everybody involved, how do they continuously blow coverages in just huge situations every single week?
I was watching the game, and I was saying to myself, I know Coach Campbell was going ape, you know what.
Oh, he was almost inconsolable on the 5th quarter about it.
I knew it when I was watching. I said, I know Coach Campbell is losing it right now. Listen, we all know that Devontae Adams is a stud, okay? He's an absolute stud. But before coming into this game, he had 109 against the Ravens. He had 110 against the Dolphins, but he was never this good all season long. He had short crossing routes, medium crossing routes. right down the middle, the toe touch. And then there was another play where he was just all completely wide open. How does that happen? I mean, I don't know. And listen, we spent money in free agency to bring in so-called guys with leadership ability, guys who played in playoff situations, and they're horrible. And then we paid Tyson Campbell, and we paid him like a lockdown corner. And he definitely didn't lock down on Sunday. I mean, Devontae Adams did whatever he wanted to do against this kid. And it's unfortunate because we paid him to be in situations like this where guys like Devontae Adams don't showcase their talents, and they did. So, I mean, it's a plethora of mediocrity in that secondary. And it was a sad sighting to see on Sunday.
You know, my thing is, Leon, when it happens so frequently, I mean, you tell me, you're the 11-year NFL guy. I mean, is that players? Is that coaching? I find it hard to believe that the coaches don't tell them, hey, you see Devontae Adams over there? You might want to go follow him. But I don't know. I mean, who would you put more of the blame on? Or is there just about a 50-50 share on that?
Players.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, throughout the week, I mean, they're watching film. They're deciphering route running and what he likes to do in certain situations. They go down the distance. They go down, what he likes to do on this second and long, third and long, all that kind. They go through all that stuff in practice. They go through all that stuff in film. Now, as a player, you got to do your due diligence, take all that information and execute it, in practice, and then execute it on the field. And whatever they're doing in practice, they're not translating it on the field well. They're not communicating well. They're undercutting routes. They get beat off. They get beat off the jet. I mean, all that. Listen. I always put it on the players because I know the type of information that's given to the players throughout the whole week. I know that they practice it and they watch it again, and they take home film. Now, whatever they're doing during the week, as far as execution-wise, it's just not showing up on Sunday. So I don't blame the coaches at all when it comes to the ineffectiveness of the secondary.
Final moments with Leon Searcy. Leon, on Sunday, the Jaguars go to Las Vegas. Look, the holidays are coming up. You're 3-11. You're playing a 2-12 team. Two awful organizations, at least here in 2024. And you can say whatever you want publicly. I mean, at the end of the day, these guys are human beings, right? They know that in 2 weeks they're going to be booking, reservations to Cancun or wherever. Are these guys invested at this point? I mean, it's two awful teams of all places in Las Vegas, right? Which probably doesn't help. I mean, what's your motivation at this point if you're a veteran on this football team?
Well, first of all, don't get beat by the city and the team. All right, you're getting a lot of trouble in Vegas.
Yeah.
Go stay your butt in the hotel. Well, listen, I've never been in this situation before, but I've talked to guys who are veterans that call me and tell me that the season's a wash and how they're just trying to stay healthy. Now, I don't know what that means as far as effort goes, but I know if you're a veteran and you want a couple of more years in the league, you're not trying to get hurt. So take that as you may. Now, if you're a young guy, if you're a young spirited guy who's been in the league a year, 2 or 3, whatever, you want to play these games. You want to showcase your talent, whether it be for the Jaguars or 31 other teams. Film is good. Absolutely, film is good. Whether it's on this team or the 31 other teams, if you got good film, you want to play hard. Absolutely, you want to play hard. You want to go out there and try to execute at the highest level. Because if this Jaguar team doesn't want you 6 months from now, 8 months from now, you've got good film for other teams that you can make on another roster.
Leon, final question, and I was pretty open about this all week. I thought Sunday against the Jets was perfect because Brian Thomas Jr. looked awesome. Brenton Strange had a career day. I loved what I saw to Bigsby and Etienne and Parker Washington, and the young guys, at least on offense, really performed well. The game was entertaining. It was fun. And at the end of the day, they lost. And to me, that helps you not only in April, but it certainly helps you if you want there to be significant change. I did not want them to win 5 games in a row and give Shad Khan any inkling that the people in charge here are the right guys to turn it around. I would sign up for the same thing on Sunday, to be honest. The young guys play well, entertain me for 3 hours so that we can have a good fifth quarter. But if the Raiders find a way to win the game, I'm not going to be all that upset about it. Do you share that sentiment?
I'm almost in the boat, Hack. I'm almost in that same boat to a situation where I just want to see young players play well. But yeah, I mean, I'm rolling in that boat with you, Hack. At this particular point, I mean, Shad needs to blow this whole thing up, get some fresh new energy in here, new coaching staff, new GM. You know, keep us in the top 5 as far as draft picks go, and let's move forward. I'm there. I mean, because beating the Raiders, I mean, you got the Raiders, you got the Titans, and you got the Colts. I mean, yeah, I'm floating in that same boat, Hack. I'm to the point where the season's a wash. I think if they had to beat the Jets, I would have been on, okay, let's get another one. But I saw enough that I needed to see on Sunday, so I'm floating in that same boat with you.
Problem is, I thought the Raiders were going to beat the Jaguars up until I actually saw the Raiders play on Monday night. They're awful. The Jaguars actually might be better than them, even with all the injuries and stuff. So I think the Jaguars probably will win the game because the Raiders have the fan base. If you watch that game on Monday night, there were Shador Sanders signs in the crowd. I mean, that fan base is done with this team. And I just wonder if Jacksonville can go out there and win. They probably should, right? I mean, the Raiders look awful.
They're terrible. Yeah. Well, that's one game that I'll tell you what. Down the stretch, we're probably capable of winning at least 2 more games. The Titans are terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're awful. Now the Colts depends on, Anthony Richardson. He's not having a stellar year at all. So I wouldn't. I mean, as much as we want them to lose, the next couple, more than likely they'll probably win the next 3.
We'll see what happens. I wouldn't like that, but it's certainly a possibility. You hear Leon Searcy every day on Prime Time. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark, and you'll hear Leon and myself. The head coach is off this week, but you hear Leon and myself Sunday evening, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Raiders go final for the 5th quarter on 1010 XL. Leon, have a great week. I'll see you Sunday night, my friend.
You got it.
There you go. Leon Searcy here with us every week on Hacker After Dark, and we always appreciate the former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for joining us. Coming up next, let's go around the AFC South. The division's over, right? The Texans are division champions, largely by default, because I don't think Houston's very good, to be honest with you. Everybody else in the division is just terrible. Indianapolis will probably be eliminated from postseason play this week. Tennessee has benched Will Levis, and they don't know what direction they're going in. And Jacksonville's season has been a nightmare. All the promise of the preseason coming into 2024 that the AFC South had has been absolutely destroyed in the last 3 months. What happened? Why are all these teams, including Houston, not near as good as most of us thought they would be? Mike Patton is the host of the Touring the AFC South podcast, and he joins me next. Let's talk Colts, Texans, Titans, and Jaguars with Mike Patton next on a Wednesday evening in Jacksonville, Florida. We're glad you're with us. It's Hacker After Dark right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
Let's go, defense! A good-looking defense does more than protect your zone. It can enhance your home. Hey, this is our house! This is our house! After the game, catch the superior Fence and Rail Defensive Player of the Game on 1010XL.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. You know, I was going around the neighborhood earlier tonight with a little hack. He likes to walk around, get a little exercise in before it gets dark. And a neighbor of mine, a lady that, quite frankly, I don't know very well. I've seen her a few times. She stopped me and little hack. She said, "Man, you have lost a ton of weight. I know your mother must be so happy." And that just, man, that makes me feel so good. I guess I didn't realize what I was doing to my health, how bad my health actually was. When I have basic strangers coming up that I don't even know, telling me how much weight I've lost. And it's all thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss. Changing my life, man, saving my life If you need to lose weight, a ton of it like I had to, or even just a few pounds, go to awaken180weightloss.com, awaken180weightloss.com. Take it from me. I've lost over 100 with them. You can too. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Cigar smokers, All-Pro Lyman Leon Searcy here for my favorite spot, Cigars International. The Cigars International Superstore is now open at the Town Center, a massive 6,200 square feet with over 600 cigar brands, a full-service bar, and indoor and outdoor lounges with flat-screen TVs. Give their old-fashioned a try. It's the best that I've ever had. Follow on social for holiday specials and events. Cigars International is now open at the Town Center.
Bull riding, the perfect fusion of strength, skill, and pure willpower. Professional bull riders aren't just athletes. They're daredevils with cowboy souls. Come experience the true modern West, where 8 seconds of glory will create a lifetime of memories. It's the Michelob Ultra PBR Jacksonville at ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, February 22nd and 23rd. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com and PBR.com. Hold on tight. The ride of your life is about to begin.
Hey, it's Mike Dempsey, and you know how I feel about Pella Windows and Doors. Great design, strongest warranties, and the highest quality product. I even chose Pella Windows for my own home. And whether you're a homeowner replacing windows or building a new home or a trade professional working with clients, I know the design experts at Pella will help your project run smoothly and look great. Visit PellaJacks.com or the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
Follow the Canes as they storm the ACC.
I'm 1010XL's JJ LaSelva, and every week I'll bring you the Miami news and notes you need to know.
The Performance Painting Hurricane Report on 1010XL. Prepare, protect, preserve.
This Christmas, St. Nicholas Guns and Range is packing the gift of savings. 20% off white tag items, 10% off other in-stock firearms, and 10% off range memberships. Plus, don't miss out on our custom holsters. From premium firearms to exclusive range access, our friendly staff has everything for the shooter in your life or for yourself. But hurry, these deals won't last long. Visit stnickguns.com or stop by today. That's stnickguns.com, where Christmas savings hits the bullseye.
When mice and rats show up in your space, they can be a real pain. You need them out fast before they have time to multiply. Terminix knows how to shut down rodents, and they'll keep them from coming back to wreak more havoc. When rodents show up, so do we. Don't live with a rodent problem. Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com.
Mia here. When it comes to roofing, whether it be shingles, metal, or most repairs, there is one name that has protected your home since 1999. Pro-Jax Roofing. Serving all of Northeast Florida, Mike and his guys have been repairing and replacing roofs for 25 years. Need insurance help? Mike's team can help. Raised in a military family, Mike provides great attention to detail with unparalleled quality and workmanship. They also have warranties, so you can have peace of mind. Call Mike today for a free estimate or online at projaxroofingfl.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Raiders come up this Sunday at 4 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. As far as the rest of the AFC South, well, the hay is in the barn. The Texans are the division champions. Indianapolis, I guess, is gasping at life for a playoff spot. They are probably not going to make it. And Tennessee and Jacksonville are two of the worst teams in football. What happened to this division in 2024. Mike Patton is the host of the Touring the AFC South podcast, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Mike, how you doing, man?
Doing great. A little better than the division right now.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. You know, Mike, you and I talked a lot this offseason, and the expectations were so high on really every team in the division, and outside of Houston, and even for them, it's been probably a disappointment. But, boy, Indy, Tennessee, and Jacksonville, it's been borderline disastrous, man. In your opinion, what has gone wrong with the division as a whole?
Honestly, just a lot of people not living up to the expectations. A lot of that basically has been it, the biggest thing. A lot of people not living up to the expectations of what was expected with the money spent, the players brought in, the players drafted, and all those different things combined.
Let's talk about the champions. The Texans won the division last Sunday, kind of a default division champion because every other team is just awful. But nevertheless, a division champion. Is Houston satisfied where they are? Or like I said, are they even maybe a little disappointed at where they stand right now?
Well, if I were Houston, I'd be a little disappointed because it was expected that they would take that next step, especially with adding Diggs to the equation and also Joe Mixon, and then the additions defensively. Well, defensively, they've kind of started getting things a little bit more together. They had Christian Harris back, their dynamic linebacker as well, but they're not quite where everyone expected them to be. So, while they won the division, I would still be kind of disappointed if I was Houston, and especially a Houston, Texas fan.
I haven't talked to you since the Azeez Al-Shire situation here with Trevor Lawrence. I can assure you Azeez Al-Shire is still public enemy number one in Jacksonville among the Jaguar fans. You cover the division. What was your take on that whole situation?
My take on it is, of course, do I believe Azeez is a dirty player? No. Was it a bad play in his light? Yes, very. And honestly, Azeez, I've actually talked to Azeez multiple times when he was playing here with the Tennessee Titans. Very personable guy, very nice guy. When you talk to him, always giving of his time and his energy. I don't think this is indicative of what kind of person he is. But when he's between the lines, he does play the edge of the whistle, and he does play hard at all times. Bad situation for him. He didn't quite help the situation with coming back out the tunnel and kind of getting things going again. So not one of his best moments, but do I think he's a overall dirty player? No. Bad moment? Yes.
Mike Patton, host of the Touring the AFC South podcast. Yeah, I'm not sure who advised Azeez about putting that tweet out about the Joker. And if you want me to be your villain, I'll be your villain. That was interesting.
I can address that. The one thing I would say, that wasn't necessarily towards the NFL. That wasn't. That was more towards all the people that were coming and attacking his religion and things like that nature. I think that was more towards people doing that as opposed to actually towards the NFL and the suspension. But, of course, being a professional athlete, you can't read every single thing people say about you because you're going to get infuriated.
It certainly is going to spice up the Jaguar-Texan rivalry as if it need any more spicing up when we head into 2025. Mike, final thought on the Texans. Can they make any noise in the AFC playoffs, or are they going to have trouble?
They're going to have trouble. I mean, defensively, they're going to play well. Offensively, they've had some issues. I could see them, if they get the right matchup, they could win a first-round game, but that's still not the expectation of where plenty thought they would be.
Let's go to Indianapolis next. They're holding on to playoff hope by a thread after a bad loss in Denver, one of the worst trick plays you'll ever see. The pick six that completely ended the game basically there in Denver in the fourth quarter. Indianapolis won 9 games last year with a healthy Anthony Richardson. They thought they were going to be in the mix again this year. That appears not to be the case. It's got to be a lot of disappointment up there, correct?
Very much, very much. They thought bringing back the whole band was going to make them better this season, but in all actuality, they regressed as a team offensively and defensively, and it just wasn't something that many Colts fans and the Colts expected to happen this season.
Couple more from Mike Patton, host of the Touring the AFC South podcast. Anthony Richardson, the guy there long term. Do we have a definitive answer on that in your opinion yet, Mike?
We don't have a definitive answer there. I would say the biggest disappointment there in their offense is that they didn't lean on the running game and allow Anthony Richardson to grow with the running game. They came out slinging the ball around. I know he's got a heck of an arm, but you have to, with a young quarterback, use the running game to help them grow and kind of, grow the offense. Don't just throw them in there and that's basically what you got. You basically threw him in there and threw the whole offense out and thought that he was just going to throw the ball all around the yard. He's just not built to be he's not built to be at that point in his career just yet.
I don't think Shane Steichen's in any trouble yet, but going into year 3 in 2025, does he need to win next year or will he be in trouble?
Oh, he's definitely on a little bit of the seat's a little hot for Shane Steichen going into 2025 for sure.
All right, to Nashville next. You live in the Nashville area. Is the Will Levis era of Titan football over for now? He got benched last week for Mason Rudolph.
Well, it isn't technically over because listening to Brian Callahan, he didn't quite commit to Mason Rudolph being a starter next week. Of course, he's probably not going to come out and tell you, hey, he's going to be the starter or not. You never know with any NFL coach whether they're going to do that. But, in my opinion, I think that game kind of told definitively to people that Will Levis isn't it. If there was any hope that he was it, because of course the 4 games previous to the last 2, he had actually shown some signs and things like that. But the last few games definitely has reverted back to the guy he was before the season. Minus the inexplicable turnovers that you just scratch your head about, but still turnovers nonetheless. Do I believe his era is over? Yes, I believe that era is over for Will Levis.
Why hasn't it worked for Will Levis in Nashville?
Honestly, it's a combination of things. You can't say it's the running game because Tony Pollard has been the lone bright spot for the Tennessee Titans offensively. That's been consistently bright, I should say, not the lone bright spot. Because we still have Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, who's in the tops and touchdown receptions. The running game hasn't been an issue. The line hasn't been an issue. It's just the decision-making in crucial elements in time. Reading the defense, trying to, trusting his arm maybe a little bit too much or just not, not getting all the way comfortable within the offense, which, is to be expected with a guy that's, in his second offense in his second year. But to this extent, I don't think anybody expected that, and that's why I think it hasn't worked. And you haven't seen the progression of him getting, consistently better and dropping off those silly mistakes.
I have some friends in Nashville and the Titans media that cover the team every day. I don't think there's a realistic shot of this, but you're up there. Let me ask you. I mean, Callahan's not one and done, right? He'll be back in 2025, correct?
I don't think he's one and done. There's a lot of fans yelling that he needs to be gone, that Rand Carthon needs to be gone, and all this and that and the other. But, you don't make immediate change after one season. I'm not of the opinion that you make immediate change after one season because it never really works out because you're always going to be disgruntled about something. So do I think he's back next year? I absolutely believe he's back next year.
Final moments, Mike Patton, the host of the Touring the AFC South podcast. That brings us here to Jacksonville. It's a disaster, a nightmare season. Can't believe they have 3 games to go, Mike, but they do. But amidst this dark hole of the 2024 campaign, boy, the shining light, the shining star here for Jacksonville is obviously Brian Thomas Jr.
Correct. I will say this. For the season, I had my doubts about him, perhaps. I thought that, Neighbors was the guy and that Brian Thomas Jr. might be solid, just depending upon what all happened there in terms of the wide receiver core and things like that. But he's been the lone standout, and I couldn't be more proud of how that young man has played this year, despite all the things going on around him with that organization.
Well, it's not. I mean, he's obviously the bright spot, but you look at the emergence of Tank Bigsby, Brenton Strange, who had 11 catches last week, and for the injured Evan Ingram. Parker Washington's done some nice things. Clearly, Mike, there appears to be a young nucleus forming on this offense.
Hopefully so. Because, I definitely like Parker Washington and his abilities. Strange, I definitely didn't expect to see that from him. And then Tank Bigsby, he's making people think about Travis Etienne and if he's actually going to be there for the long term.
Mike, obviously the big talk here in Jacksonville is the future of general manager Trent Baalke and head coach Doug Peterson. What's your opinion on both guys?
Honestly, I think both should go. But, when Baalke signed Walker Little to that extension, they gave me thoughts that he's more than likely going to be there next year, which, is beyond me. I think both should actually go, and they should start with a clean slate for just Trevor, for Travis, for the entire players in Jacksonville. They deserve, I believe, a new GM and head coach, not just the new head coach, which I think is coming.
Final question. New Orleans is open. The Jets are open. The Bears are open. Maybe the Giants come open. Potentially the Raiders come open. There will be another maybe surprise or two, and that includes Jacksonville. Of the teams that are open for the head coaching spot and the teams that likely will come open, including the Jags, how appealing would you say this job is here in Jacksonville to prospective coaching candidates?
I don't know how appealing it is, just because Trent Baalke may still be there, which that's not a good thing because, I've seen him since his San Francisco days. And in those days, he's a guy that likes to be in control of literally about everything. And if that's the case, then you're not going to want to be a head coach and work under that unless you're, signing up for that and you're used to it and you want him to do all those things. So that part of it's not appealing. But in terms of the players, there's talent there. There's talent in Jacksonville, so that part of it makes it appealing. So I would say it's probably a middle of the road in terms of job that's available. But, Trent Baalke, if he's still involved in the organization, that doesn't make it the most appealing.
If Trent Baalke is gone as well, does it make it one of the most appealing jobs?
Potentially with, you still have a guy that is talented at quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. You still have a defense or defensive guys in terms of Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker. You still have talent on that team. It's just a matter of getting the right people in the right places in terms of leadership and coordinators because, I definitely can say Ryan Nielsen's probably been worse than the defensive coordinator that was there last year, and the offense hasn't quite been the same this year. Of course, it's still the same people there.
Mike, tell the good folks here in Jacksonville about the Touring the AFC South podcast and when and where they can find it.
All right. Well, the Touring the AFC South podcast, we talk about everything Colts, Texans, Jaguars, and Titans. And you can find it on YouTube at the Mike Patton Network. Also, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, you name it. You can find it there. It's usually there on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Tuesdays or Thursdays. Just keep an eye out. I do have a former NFL running back coming this week to talk about the AFC South from an outside perspective. Who it is, you got to tune in to see.
Oh, we love that. Mike Patton, the Touring the AFC South podcast. Mike, I know you're busy. Really appreciate you taking time out. Happy holidays to you and your family. We'll talk soon, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Happy holidays to you and yours as well.
If you want more action,
Woo! It's Smash Mouth football, baby!
Tom McManus.
Fridays 10 to noon on Jaguars Today.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Windows and Doors. A better way to a better window on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Hey guys, it's your boy E.T. And you need a little extra boost in the bedroom? Blue Chew is what you need. By now you probably know that Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, and Staxin in a chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. So what you waiting for? Blue Chew is all online. No doctor's visits, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Plus, it ships right to your front door in a discreet package. Their licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredients and strengths for your prescription. Guys, if you don't like swallowing pills, no problem. Blue Chew is chewable. And ready for a great offer? How about free? Go to BlueChew.com, consult with a licensed medical provider, and get your first month free. Turn that oh no into a oh yeah. Just chew it and do it. Visit BlueChew.com.
I got the perfect holiday gift for you. At the Blue Crab House, you spend $50, you get a $65 gift card. $50 and you get $65. Bam, the pressure's off. Located right off of San Jose on Jewington Creek Road, open every day until 9 except for Monday. Get rid of the stress of holiday shopping right now at the Blue Crab House. Spend $50 and get a $65 gift card. Only at the Blue Crab House.
It's the Jaguars' final home game of the 2024 regular season, and you don't want to miss it. Join us Sunday, December 29th for our fan appreciation game when the Jaguars take on the Tennessee Titans.
It's going to go over on downs, and the Jags are going to win the ball game.
To lock in your seats for this divisional matchup, head to Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you there, Jags fans.
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford. In our effort to curb crime, drugs, and violence during the summer months, we are offering Friday Night Lights. It has already started and will be going until school starts back. It is every Friday night from 6:30 to 9:30 at the Blacktop, 5732 Normandy Boulevard, and behind the Potter's House Christian Academy. We manage 3 basketball courts. You are not running on the cement. We have covering on each court. The Lakers, the Magic, and the Heat. Ages 15 to 40 years old. This will give them something to do other than selling drugs and getting into trouble. We have monitors there giving leadership. We have to wake up, stand up, and speak up. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. Or MattDadJacksonville.com.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and Clear Skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
For 79 years, each Gator Bowl game wrote a chapter in a story filled with excitement, celebrity, and a touch of drama. The game has seen iconic coaches like Bear Bryant, Vince Dooley, and of course, Bobby Bowden. Football stars like Larry Zonka, Archie and Peyton Manning, and Michael Vick. The 80th chapter features Duke and number 14 Ole Miss. Thursday, January 2nd in primetime on Bill Gay Grounds at Everbank Stadium. Tickets on sale now at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com.
Deck the halls with pipes a-leaking, fa-la-la-la-la-la-la. Oh no! Don't let plumbing ruin your season, fa-la-la-la-la-la-la. Let's go!
Uh-oh. Got a clog or a leak messing with your holiday cheer? Call Duck Duck Rooter. We're the reindeer of repairs. Fast, reliable, and ready to slay your plumbing problems.
Fa-la-la-la-la-la-la, hooray!
904-862-6769 or visit DuckDuckRooter.com. We're flushing your worries away this holiday season.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is now offering ortho walk-in appointments. If you have an immediate need for orthopedic care, contact Southeast Orthopedic Specialist immediately. Avoid ERs and urgent care waiting rooms. For more information, go to se-ortho.com.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
The Sawgrass Marriott Golf Resort and Spa is the perfect place for indulging in a pampering spa treatment. This holiday season, give the gift of wellness with a gift card and take advantage of the spa's current promotion. With the purchase of a $75 gift card or more, guests get a credit towards a future service. With healing massages, revitalizing facial treatments, and more, a day at the Sawgrass Spa makes the perfect gift. Purchase in person at Sawgrass Spa during operating hours.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Sahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
9 o'clock hour has arrived. 1010XL 92.5 FM. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock as we do every night here on Hacker After Dark. Coming up towards the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour, we will go down to Orlando. Jake Chapman, the radio voice of the Orlando Magic. In fact, we have quite a few Magic games on our airwaves. We'll talk a little Orlando Magic with the radio play-by-play voice of Orlando, Jake Chapman. They're back on the court tomorrow night, Oklahoma City. That's actually a national TV game, 7 o'clock tomorrow night on TNT. The Magic 17-11, trying to survive amidst all the injuries. Paolo Banchero has been out since Halloween. He's probably coming back, one would guess, in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Franz Wagner's been out about 2 weeks now. He won't be back till probably mid to late January at the earliest. So Orlando still fourth in the East, still doing very well, but they don't have their two best guys, and they're going to play one of the best teams in the NBA tomorrow night in Oklahoma City. So Jake Chapman, the radio voice of the Magic, will join me. And coming up in less than 10 minutes, we will go to Las Vegas. Our guy when it comes to the Las Vegas Raiders is Adam Hill, the Las Vegas Review-Journal. What is the Raiders' side of this matchup with Jacksonville coming up on Sunday? Combined records of 5-23 with the Jaguars and the Raiders. Quickly to college basketball from one night ago. Boy, how about Florida? We talked about it towards the end of the show last night. The Gators now 11-0 for only the second time in school history. They have wins over Florida State, Wake Forest, Virginia, Wichita State, Arizona State, and now North Carolina. 4-0 against ACC teams, mind you. Florida would be stunning if they were not 13-0 before conference play begins. Kudos to Todd Golden and that basketball team. They're among the top 10 teams in America, and deservedly so. They go into Charlotte last night and beat North Carolina, a game where Florida had to come from behind to win. They were down 4 with about 3 minutes left, and they find a way to get it done. So the Gators, for only the second time in men's hoops history, have started a year 11-0. In fact, they play UNF coming up this weekend. The Gators and the Ospreys, I believe that's a noon tip on Saturday down in Gainesville. Coming up next, let's go to Las Vegas. Adam Hill, the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Let's talk about Antonio Pierce. Let's talk about Kayvon Chason, former Jaguar, maybe having a little bit of a renaissance in Las Vegas. And we'll talk Shedeur Sanders. Why am I going to talk Shedeur Sanders? Because that's all anybody in Las Vegas is talking about. That fan base does not want to win this game on Sunday against the Jaguars. We'll talk about that dynamic next. On a Wednesday night here in Jacksonville, Florida, it's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
It's not reinventing the wheel, it's making it roll down the field. Let's keep it rolling. Listen for the Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville drive of the game.
That's a great drive right there.
On 1010XL.
Keep going. We got to keep going, keep going, keep going.
My name's Jim. I'm 53 years old. There should be options in life, like ways to lose weight. Medications now feel like the only option. I mean, it sounds like a guarantee. I do have friends who have lost weight with them. I tried holding off. I did other diets, but I was miserable. I'd rather be fat and happy. The problem was I wasn't happy fat. I was about to start the meds, but then I heard of Awaken 180's GLP-1 program. Turned out it does the same thing as the meds without injecting myself for life. It absolutely worked. I dropped 45 pounds. I'm now in maintenance, and I feel better than my friends who are still on the meds. Listen, I barely know what GLP-1 is. What I do know is Awaken 180 worked for me, and I was far from miserable doing it.
Thanks, Jim. You all know our success with Awaken 180, and now with Awaken 180's GLP-1 Balance, you address the root causes of weight issues. Do it naturally, then keep it off. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a professional stamp licker from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Martin Celery.
Oh, gosh. I can't wait to play, Bob.
Well, let's move things along. Tell him what he's won, Johnny.
Wait, but
That's right, Marty. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we've stocked up on the remaining inventory of low-cost 2024 model air conditioners. So you win. We're passing the savings on to you.
Can I answer a question first?
We need to make room for the 25s, so we're offering great deals on AC replacements while supplies last.
Could I spin the wheel at least? I've been practicing for a year.
With last-minute deals like this, there's no question that you are cool.
What do I tell my kids?
There you go. Have a souvenir t-shirt.
Thanks.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
If your trip to the store turns into a trip to the emergency room, call Farah & Farah. We can help determine if a business is responsible for your slip and fall injuries and get you the justice you deserve. When you fall hard, we fight harder. Farah & Farah, Jacksonville.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
The Tom Coughlin J Fund helps families battling childhood cancer, and there are ways you can help. Go to tcjfund.org.
City Rescue Mission provides life-changing support for the homeless. Find ways to get involved at crmjax.org.
The 5-Star Veterans Center of Jacksonville is the place homeless veterans can go to recover, recharge, retrain, and reconnect. Learn more at 5starveteranscenter.org.
Her Song is a nonprofit organization that breaks the cycle of human trafficking through survivor care, victim outreach, and education. Find out how you can help at hersong.org.
The Hometown for Heroes Home Buyers Program helps you get your down payment and closing costs paid. Call to learn more. 574-7180.
If you're involved in a community event and you'd like us to help spread the word, find out how at 1010XL.com.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control. Are you tired of spiders, ants, roaches, or other pests invading your home turf? Call the winning team at Kingfish Pest Control. I can tell you from my own experience, Kingfish will sack mosquitoes, tackle rodents, and intercept termites before they can blitz into your home. And right now, score 20% off your new pest control service when you start during the 2024 football season. Save big and defend your home with Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish. And he's listening to the Nimnicht Outdoor Show.
With tips and stories.
Presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Every Saturday morning, 7 to 10.
On 1010XL.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too. From Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 9
saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
This holiday season, send someone you love a beautiful arrangement from Kuhn Flowers. JJ here, and I know that when you order from Kuhn, you'll show them how much you care. Online at KuhnFlowers.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Raiders, Sunday, 4 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL Radio. Combined records of 5-23, although this game is important. No, not for playoff positioning, but for draft positioning. Let's go out to Las Vegas. Our guy when it comes to the Raiders is Adam Hill of the Las Vegas Review-Journal. He's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Adam, how are you, man?
I am good. I had to sit through some bad football, and I expect Sunday to be sitting through some pretty bad football as well. But as you mentioned, a really big game for a lot of reasons involving the Raiders in particular. They need a quarterback, and they need a top 2 pick, I think, in this draft. And if they are somehow able to find a way to win, they could really impact their future in terms of not getting the guy they potentially want. So a lot of storylines going into this one.
Yeah, it's a big one from that standpoint, and we'll get there. But, Adam, you and I haven't spoken since we did our division previews this summer, and I'm curious, here in Jacksonville, we're borderline flabbergasted how bad the Jaguars are. This has been an absolute rude awakening. What about out there in Las Vegas? Are you stunned the Raiders are where they are?
I was definitely lower on them than most people were, but I think that I thought they'd at least be middle of the pack, and I actually thought that was going to be their downfall. I thought that they were going to be a little bit too good to be terrible and not good enough to be good, and so I thought they'd win about 6-7 games, maybe in that range, but certainly not threatened for a playoff spot. Fortunately for them, I think. They weren't as good as I thought they might be. I mean, I thought they'd find a way to win. Gardner Minshew came in. I know you guys are familiar with him down there. I think he's been as bad as he's ever been, and I thought he was going to be at least a serviceable quarterback for them, and he just never was. Aiden O'Connell, had a couple of games, and looks like he'll be back this week, but he hasn't really moved the needle. And then Desmond Ridder gave them a little bit of a running option, this past week, but that's about all he had. So. They just haven't been able to find a quarterback. They've had injuries all over the place. I don't think the coach is, ready for prime time. And for a lot of factors, they just weren't able to get to that level of mediocrity, which in the long run is a good thing because they can completely rebuild, start over, and find a quarterback.
Adam Hill, Las Vegas Review-Journal, here with us on 1010XL. Adam, you mentioned Antonio Pierce. It was kind of a surprise to some outside of Vegas when he got the job. I know his players kind of went to bat for him. Obviously has not been good in year one. Will there be a year 2 for Antonio Pierce?
I mean, that is a huge question. I mean, it's been a big debate among the media, and obviously everybody talks to different people in the organization. And I think there's a lot of split right now of whether that will happen. I think on the pro Antonio Pierce side, you say, hey, look, the team has continued to fight. I mean, they have not been blown out as bad as they've been. Throughout this 10-game losing streak, they've really been in it every week. And even this past Monday, they were down most of the game, and it comes down to a Hail Mary to the end zone where Jacoby Myers actually got his hand on the ball, and they could have won. I mean, they've been right in every game. They found a way to win at Baltimore. They continue to fight hard for Antonio Pierce, despite the fact that they really have nothing to play for. And I think a lot of people around the organization say, hey, that is something. That does something, and he should probably get another shot. I am more of the belief of he probably shouldn't have got the job anyway. He got the job because of some emotional victories at the end of last year where the team, found a way to come together and win some games they probably shouldn't have. And had that emotional high running, and he was able to get that job. And I think part of it goes back a couple of years. For those who don't follow the Raiders closely, they had Rich Bisaccia as an interim coach a couple of years ago, 2021, who took over after the John Gruden scandal, and he took them into the playoffs. He wanted the job full time. He didn't get it. And then they went to Josh McDaniels, which was a disaster. And so I think Mark Davis was kind of trying to fix those wrongs of, hey, we didn't give the interim coach a chance, and we probably should have. Now let's give this interim coach a chance. Let's not repeat that mistake. And a lot of the things that were issues last year, which were game management, time management, understanding of, fourth down situations and that sort of thing, those things really didn't get any better, despite bringing in a lot of help, including, a guy like Tom Coughlin, who's an advisor, who you guys are obviously familiar with, and Marvin Lewis, and a lot of old, head coaches in the league were brought in to advise Antonio Pierce on game management, and it hasn't worked. I mean, they're bad at challenges, they're bad at fourth downs, they're bad at, decision making, game management, all that stuff, and so I just think it's probably time to start over. But certainly Antonio Pierce's argument will be, I don't have a quarterback. I never got a quarterback. Let me try this job with a quarterback.
Well, look, amidst the nightmare season we're having here in Jacksonville, the one bright spot is Brian Thomas Jr., the rookie out of LSU. You could argue very similar for you guys, right, out there in Vegas amongst your nightmare season. It appears you found your tight end there in Brock Bowers.
Yeah, and the vision was Brock Bowers coming in and being an instant star, and he kind of has been. And but the real vision was teaming with Michael Mayer. I mean, they're the top tight end in college football the last 2 seasons. They have both of them together, and when they've both been playing together, it's looked really good in terms of what they can do and play off each other. The problem is Michael Mayer missed a significant portion of the middle of the season for personal reasons, where he was away from the team, and they really were never able to put together that that package with 12 personnel that they thought was going to be so dangerous with Bowers and Mayer. It's been mostly just Brock Bowers, but yeah, he's really been a star. He's been really tough to contain the games that the defense has been able to shut him down. It's because they're putting their top corner on him and trying to shut him down that way and helping. So, we've seen a couple of teams be able to slow him down. For the most part, even when he's not getting catches, he's having a massive impact on defenses. So, yeah, a positive sign there. But, if your record-setting rookie tight end is really the only bright spot, that's how you kind of end up 2-12 at this point.
Yeah, we can relate. Trust me, 3-11 is not much better. A couple of more for Adam Hill, Las Vegas Review-Journal, covering the Las Vegas Raiders. Adam, you look at Aiden O'Connell. It appears he is going to be the guy back from injury on Sunday. Has done some nice things when given an opportunity. We remember that Kansas City game, the game that the Raiders probably should have won if not for that bad snap that ended that game in that fiasco-type fashion. Aiden O'Connell give this team the best chance to win on Sunday, in your opinion?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm not going to fully just, jump out and say that's absolutely a slam dunk. Just because there's just so much inconsistency. Even in the Kansas City game, when I know he got praised a lot for having a really big game, especially in the fourth quarter, it was really bad for 2.5 quarters. I mean, the middle of the third quarter, they started to find some success and had some things go their way, but it really wasn't good for much of the day. I think you were looking at it and saying, "Oh, this is probably the end of Aiden O'Connell now as the starting quarterback." And then he had a great run at the end of the game, so he kind of salvaged it there. He's capable of doing that if you give him time. He can sit back there and he can actually throw the ball pretty well, but he's just so immobile at this point, especially now with the knee injury that he's kind of working his way through. It's just tough, if you're not giving him great protection. There's really there's nothing he can do about getting away, creating with his feet, extending plays. He can't do those kind of things, and I think that's so valuable in today's game. I mean, in terms of being a pure pocket passer, it gives you the best chance, but Desmond Ridder struggled quite a bit last week, but at least he was able to get out and make some plays in the pocket. He was able to do some things in the 2-minute drill at the end of the game. If you can combine all the quarterbacks that are on the roster and some of their strong suits, it'd probably be one decent NFL quarterback. But unfortunately, you've just got 3 limited guys, and Gardner Minshew's not going to be back with his collarbone injury. So it's Aiden O'Connell, Desmond Ridder, potentially Carter Bradley, a name that a lot of people are familiar with because it's Gus Bradley's son. He's on the roster as well. Maybe they give him a shot at some point. But, they just have to combine all those traits in order to find one serviceable quarterback.
Yeah, Carter Bradley played high school ball here in Jacksonville. We know him very well. Caleb on Chason, maybe this will be his revenge game. One of the worst draft picks the Jaguars have ever made. he goes to Las Vegas. I saw he had like 2.5 sacks against Kansas City. I almost fell out of my chair when I saw that a couple of weeks ago. How has he performed for you guys?
I mean, you talk about the bright spots. He's been pretty good, and I know people might be surprised to hear that there. I think he's kind of talked about it. I did a feature on him a couple of weeks ago about kind of dealing with that pressure of being a first-round pick and all the expectations that you have on you. The Raiders have a similar situation. A guy, Tyree Wilson, who they picked last year in the first round, who was just dreadful in his rookie season. He's been a little bit better this year, but he's talked about that as well. Just the expectation to come in and dominate just because of where you were drafted. And I think Chason has kind of found himself a little bit. I think he's settled in to a nice role, and he's been pretty reflective about his time in Jacksonville as well. So that's one guy I think a lot of people have said in the last couple of weeks. You mentioned Antonio Pierce's job security. People say, well, Tom Telesco did a good job drafting. He got a couple of guys, including Brock Bowers, as we mentioned. He got a center in Jackson Powers Johnson. He got a right tackle in DJ Glaze, who've all been pretty good this season. But in terms of finding guys in the middle of the year, they've given him a lot of credit for finding Chason, and he's been certainly better than expected.
Adam Hill, Las Vegas Review-Journal. He's our guy when it comes to the Las Vegas Raiders. Now let's get to Sunday. There's not really a lot of people here in Jacksonville that want to win this game. Obviously, the players do and the coaches do. That goes without saying. I can imagine out there in Las Vegas, it's very similar. Is there a fan that you can find that actually wants the Raiders to beat the Jaguars on Sunday?
In concept, no, but I find it very fascinating because I was kind of, at the head of the Raiders should be tanking, story last year, and they played their way into a mid-round pick, which, proved to be Brock Bowers, and good for them, but they missed out on all 6 quarterbacks last year. People say they're in for losing and for tanking, but then you get into Sunday and they're going nuts for the Raiders trying to, watch them win. And I just don't understand why. I guess, it's tough when you've paid money to go sit in a stadium to root against the team that you love. So I get it from that perspective. But yeah, people say they want to lose and then they kind of don't act like that during the game. They get all mad when they do lose. I think that there's a lot of people that are on board certainly for trying to get a top 2 pick. But I know that there's some people in the organization that are very, very, very into not closing the season with 13 straight losses, and they just want to find a way to win at some point. I think ideally they'd be able to find a way to win 2 games out of these last 3 and still have a very good pick. Maybe some of those other teams lose some games along the way. But I think that there is a very strong push to try to win this week for this team, which I don't understand, but I do kind of sense it.
Adam, final question. Obviously, both jobs potentially could come open. Pierce with the Raiders, certainly Doug Peterson here. If Antonio Pierce is shown the door, and again, it's an if, but if that does happen, is there a list of guys that you feel they will contact? I'm just curious if they're going to be looking at the same type guys Jacksonville might be.
Maybe somebody from your division, I think, would be one of the guys, because I've been under the impression that if Antonio Pierce is gone, name 1 and 2 and 3 on the list is probably Mike Vrabel. Mm-hmm. And that tie comes in for those that don't follow the Raiders closely. Tom Brady is now a part owner of the Raiders. He was brought in to not only be an investor, but they're going to go to him with big picture things. He's not going to be a day-to-day personnel guy, but he's going to be making the decisions on things like quarterback, coach, GM, those sorts of things. And I'd be shocked if Mike Vrabel wasn't the first interview that they did if Antonio Pierce is gone. Now, I did hear the other day on Pat McAfee show, Dan Orlovsky said Mike Vrabel already has a job that's in mind and that he's going to take. Didn't really indicate what that job was. But I would be surprised if the Raiders weren't very, very, very interested in Mike Vrabel because of the Tom Brady connection.
Adam Hill, Las Vegas Review-Journal. He's our guy when it comes to the Las Vegas Raiders. Adam, enjoy the ball game. Combined records of 5 and 23. The good thing is some team actually does have to win the game, so somebody will be celebrating for the first time in a while. We always appreciate it, my friend. Happy holidays to you and your family.
I'm calling for the tie.
Exactly. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you.
Get entertaining insight on Sunday's games all day Monday.
They came together as a team.
Sink your teeth into Dandy Foods Postgame Monday.
It is a game.
Makers of quality fresh sandwiches and home of the good stuff on 1010XL.
Hey guys, it's your boy E.T. here. Give yourself and your partner the gift of better love in this holiday season. Let's make it a little easier for you too. Get yourself some Blue Chew. They have chewable tablets with the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, and Staxin. You can Blue Chew all online too. They have licensed medical professionals to help you find the right prescription and strengths. You don't even have to go to the doctor's office or the pharmacy. And when they mail it to you, it comes right to your front door in a discreet package. Nobody but you will know what's inside. And did I mention they make it right here in the good old US of A? Blue Chew has a great offer for you this holiday season. How does free sound? Go to BlueChew.com, consult with a licensed medical provider, and get your first month for free. That's right, I said it, free. Turn that holiday stress into some holiday cheer. Visit BlueChew.com.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees, about $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 15th.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web. Precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
Get more Gators on the Gator Bites podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists with new episodes every Friday. Subscribe and listen by searching for 1010XL's Gator Bites podcast wherever you find podcasts and at 1010XL.com.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called the Vault. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows. One winner and a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry periods for the Shadow Sweepstakes promotion from 8/19/24 to 12/15/24. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsored administrator, Everbank NA, member FDIC.
If you suffer from constant burning, tingling, or numbness in your hands or feet, it could be a serious condition called neuropathy. I'm Dr. Nathan Riddle, DC with Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra. Neuropathy is treatable, and we have seen great results by using state-of-the-art, non-invasive therapies to target damaged nerves, reduce symptoms, and improve nerve function. Call 904-395-5598 to schedule your free consultation today and learn how you can live pain-free. Call 904-395-5598.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Zahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Googa Nation, it's Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here to tell you this is no dream. The folks at Dreamfinders Homes right now have an unbeatable interest rate for you. You may not think you can afford a Dreamfinders home. Well, think again. Take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. I said it, 2.99%. 15 Jacksonville communities to choose from. Find that dream house and take advantage of an unbeatable rate. Move now, literally. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Atlantic Self-Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need to make room to watch football in your home or need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self Storage. Over 50 locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access, all with month-to-month leases. Moving, they can help with supplies. They make storage easy. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com or call 877-WE-STORE to find a storage solution near you. Go Jags!
What is the only city to host both the Summer and Winter Olympics? The answer next.
Does your homeowner's insurance company contact you before, during, or after a big storm? If not, then it's time for you to contact Southern Oak Insurance. Find us online at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Beijing is the only city that has hosted both the Summer and the Winter Olympics.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. You know, we've been so caught up in, well, quite frankly, the failure of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Florida State's had a tough year. Florida had a tough year before the three-game winning streak to end the season. It was a tough year on the football gridiron. But just to our south, our neighbors in Orlando, it has been anything but a tough year, with the exception of some injuries for the Orlando Magic. Despite all the injury problems, the Magic 17-11, one of the biggest surprises in the NBA. And, of course, we're airing a lot of Orlando Magic games here on 1010XL. And the man you hear on those play-by-play calls is Jake Chapman of Magic Radio, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Jake, how you doing?
Ryan, I'm good, buddy. You talked about pain on the gridiron. I'm a Cleveland Browns fan originally, so I share in the pain. Every year about this time, it is certainly time to check into to basketball. So thankfully, the Magic have been quite the distraction this year for my Brownies.
Yeah, they have been the distraction. Hey, Cleveland beat Jacksonville, so you got that going for you. It's been a tough year for both of our squads. Jake, I want to talk about wins and losses and the overall roster, but obviously the story, unfortunately, is the injuries. I mean, I remember on Halloween, I was taking my 5-year-old, getting ready to go trick-or-treating, and the news came down about Paolo Banchero being out with a torn right oblique. And you want to talk about a Gordon Soley shot to the solar plexus for a Magic fan such as myself. And I never, on my wildest imagination, would have envisioned just 5 weeks later the same exact thing would happen to Franz Wagner, a torn right oblique. I mean, that's Keystone Cop stuff, right? I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's about as bizarre as you can expect, or even venture a guess. I mean, look, the worst part about it, Ryan, is it felt like you were kind of treading water and doing even better than without Paolo. Franz was able to slide into that primary scorer role, and the team was what? I think they were 16-9 when you got news that Franz had gone down. That would have been a week ago now. So Paolo is nearing a return. Franz is not. It's a 4 to 6 week timeline as far as reevaluation goes, and Paolo's doing some light work on the floor. He'll be back sooner than later. It felt like the team maybe in the long run would be better for the experience without Paolo Banchero. We know he's going to be the primary guy. It obviously was helpful as far as Franz Wagner's development goes. He was playing all-star caliber basketball, 8 games with 30-plus points this season. He did it 7 times all of last year. But now, without both of them, it's going to be really tough in the long term. You're 1-2 in these games since Franz went down. Until Paolo comes back, it's going to be really difficult to score the basketball, which, as we know, is very important in basketball. So, look, it's tough right now, but ideally, long term, you get both of these guys back, and other guys have been able to grow. Guys like Jalen Suggs as well. I guess that's the rosy way to look at it. Maybe come March, April, when you have a full complement of guys, everybody else will be a little bit better for it.
Jake Chapman, radio voice of the Orlando Magic. Jake, not that I'm counting, but it's been 48 days since Paolo got hurt. I mean, what are we thinking? Are we thinking the first of the year? Are we thinking a week or two into January? What's a realistic timetable to see him back on the floor?
Well, Ryan, we don't do timetables. We don't do timelines. As soon as I say it, I end up being wrong, and then I'm going to be the one with egg on my face. And that's why, the team doesn't put it out there like that, because you never quite know. Guys respond differently. This is one of those, structural injuries that both Paolo and Franz finished the game out when they did it. So it's not one of those things that's entirely debilitating, but it is one of those things that you don't want to play NBA basketball with, especially early in the season, especially when you know you can clean it up, and especially when you're talking about guys as important to the team's long-term success as Paolo and Franz. So we'll see. I mean, timelines, something that the basketball operation and certainly the training staff and performance staff don't ever touch. Paolo is progressing. He's responding to treatment, and hopefully sooner than later. Look, we've got this homestand right now, right? And obviously it's good to be going through this at home as opposed to out on the road. But, dude, the competition is pretty tricky the next couple of weeks. Oklahoma tomorrow, Miami, Boston, Miami, New York. It is not a whole bunch of cupcakes on this homestand. So hopefully we're able to get him back sometime within the next couple of weeks. And hopefully it's a pretty quick ramp up. But that's the thing, right? You get him back, and now you got to make sure his conditioning is right. You don't want to throw him out there for 35 minutes plus as soon as he returns. So you just got to be careful with this stuff, especially at this stage of the season. You know, if it were the postseason, I think he's rushing back to get back on the floor, and maybe he doesn't miss any time period. Maybe he just plays through it. In November and December, with Paolo Banchero, you got to be careful.
You know, and the interesting thing, as you alluded to earlier, the guys that have had to step up. I mean, look, I give the Magic credit, and maybe this is me with my Orlando Magic blinders on, but I think 1 to 15, you could legitimately argue the Magic are the deepest team in the NBA, and I think that has shown through, not only with Paolo and Franz being out, but Gary Harris has missed a lot of time. Wendell Carter missed 12 games at the beginning of the year. Jonathan Isaac has missed some time. I mean, guys have been, out, and yet here the Magic are 17 and 11, fourth in the East. And it goes to show you the Mo Wagners, the Goga Batazes, the Tristan Da Silvas, the Kentavious Caldwell Popes. I mean, these guys have really, really stood up in their absence.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. Anthony Black, Jed Howard getting development. We saw, it was in a loss, but we saw Corey Joseph in there the other night. I think he's going to play a big role coming through the next couple of weeks. Cole Anthony, obviously. So you're right. And especially, you go back to that Milwaukee game, how well they were able to play at Milwaukee, NBA Cup game without Franz, without Paolo. There was just a lot going on in that game, and that was a pretty awesome showing. And you didn't have Jonathan Isaac in that one. So J.I.'s missed a couple games here and there, and we know what kind of an impact he makes defensively. But I think the best example maybe of the depth, and this is something that I'm not sure – even the rosy-eyed Magic fan, such as yourself, Ryan, would have seen was the way Franz filled in for Paolo. I mean, Franz was playing some of the best. He was putting up numbers like Luka and like Giannis, night in, night out. And he's one of the better defenders and two-way young players in the league. And so he was playing all-star basketball without Paolo Banchero, grew rapidly into a role that I don't know if a lot of people expected him to be able to rise to. He's such a good young player. And so you've got two guys that you feel like can take over games, kind of built the way the Boston Celtics are. Now it's just a matter of kind of seasoning the guys around them. And, if nothing else, Jalen Suggs is going to have a whole bunch thrown on his plate over the course of the next few weeks. And I think the results, because of what we asked Jalen to do on the other end, might be a bit more mixed than they were for Franz Wagner. But, long term, I think Jalen's going to be better for it, as I said.
A couple of more for Jake Chapman, the radio voice of the Orlando Magic. Yeah, it's a great opportunity for Jalen Suggs, a guy that might get overlooked at times because of the presence of Banchero and Wagner, but certainly Suggs is a vital part of this team. And a vital part of this team that I don't think gets near the credit he deserves is Jamal Mosley. I mean, what he's done with all of these injuries and navigating the first 28 games, Jamal Mosley right now, it would be hard to argue, should absolutely, if not be the coach of the year to this point, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, he's been building this thing since day one, right? I mean, you just go back 4 seasons and the way the win total has increased every year, and you're developing guys to an all-star caliber like Paolo and Franz, but you're developing other guys, guys like you, Ryan. Remember when Mo Wagner arrived here in Goga Batase? And then you think about the young guys like Anthony Black and Tristan, who are being asked to contribute early on in their careers and aren't going out there and setting the team back. He's as good as it gets, man. He's great with us. We love chatting with him. He's very open with information, but he burns hot, and he's able to keep them. in the NBA, I feel like everybody wants to be like, oh, he's a player's coach, or oh, he's an old-time disciplinarian, and there's only those two like archetypes. Coach Mosley, he toes the line because those guys respect him, they love him, they know that he has their back. He is a quote-unquote player's coach, but he's still very exacting and demanding. And, you know, the guys know that if they screw up or kick the ball around the gym or aren't delivering and meeting expectations, somebody else is going to be playing their minutes. So he's able to have that level of accountability while still having their back, which I think is really tricky with NBA athletes.
And look, you know, I don't know if there's anything above a diehard, but if there is, that's what I would be. I mean, I go back to the days of Greg Kite and Anthony Bowie and Dennis Scott and Nick Anderson and Jeff Turner. And, I mean, I can break down the 89 roster and with Scott Skiles and Reggie Theus, for crying out loud. And we welcome people on the bandwagon. All right, I'll welcome you aboard. Do you get the sense, Jake, being in Orlando, the excitement in places like Tampa, Daytona, up here in Jacksonville? I mentioned we carry a lot of your broadcasts now on Magic Radio. There is an excitement about this team despite the injuries. And keep in mind, this is not a one-year situation. Franz Wagner's 23. Jalen Suggs is 22, right? Paolo Banchero is 21, I believe. I mean, this team is going to be, that nucleus is going to be down there for a long time, and the excitement's only going to build and build and build as the years go by.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan, you remember then, you know, how the Dwight years.
Oh, yeah.
I was around for those. And so when there's a good product on the floor, this place goes crazy. And we know it's not just Orlando. It's the entire I-4 corridor, and it's up to Jacksonville. And, you know, sometimes dipping south into Heat territory. We'd love to pluck every single one of those down south fans as possible. And it's a great market. Like, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio originally, and so everything's just kind of packed in the Midwest. You know, Orlando is obviously rapidly growing, but it's not the most difficult thing in the world to come see a big game if you live in Jacksonville. You know, it's not the worst poke. Maybe traffic sucks, but whatever. And so, you know, when this team is something, that building is something really unique. We just lost our first home game of the season. Hadn't lost a home game before that since March of last year. We started to feel it last season, started kind of bubbling, and we have enough young guys. You know, we just had Jalen Suggs on our podcast, and he was like, oh, no, like, it's different when we play at home. Like, we do feed off of that energy. And sometimes I think if you're the Lakers and LeBron James, and maybe it doesn't make that big a difference. But if you're Jalen Suggs, who's just now tasting his first NBA success, it does make a big difference to have 18,000 people screaming your name and supporting you and kind of pushing you on the defensive end to make a steal or hit the floor for a loose ball or something like that. So it's definitely a home court advantage. These guys definitely respond to it. And you're right. Like, I think part of what's so exciting is that everybody's young. They're all, it seems, happy to be here right now. And we started to see some real success last year, making the postseason and taking the Cavs to 7. So it feels like, and I'm with you. I don't care if the national media wants to talk about us. I don't care about anything. Get on the bandwagon. And when the national media decides to talk about us, fantastic. If not, we'll be the best kept secret in the league.
I tell people in Jacksonville all the time, an hour and 40 minutes to that garage right outside the Kia Center. Jake, yeah. I'm a Corona's cigar bar guy over there on Church Street. I make a whole day out of it, right? I go and hang out there, get some dinner, get a smoke, head on over to the Kia Center, maybe go back to Corona's for a nightcap. I absolutely love it going to Orlando Magic games, and it's a quick drive down I-4. All right, as we wrap up, we know Franz and Paolo are out for an extended period. Like you said, Paolo will be back obviously sooner, hopefully in a couple of weeks. But getting Jonathan Isaac back, getting Gary Harris back would be like a Band-Aid, right? It would be some ointment at least on the wound. I know J.I. did play recently. Gary Harris, I believe he's questionable going into tomorrow night. What is the status of those two guys as we move along here?
Yeah, close. J.I. came back, and Gary was upgraded, I believe, before the last game to questionable. So he is getting back. Look, that hamstring is something that's given him issues for about 2 seasons now. J.I. think, is clear and good to go tomorrow night, and we're going to need every last bit of it against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Should be a really interesting game. And I think Gary probably will be able to give it a go. If not tomorrow, then certainly over the course of the homestand.
Well, a lot of home games to go. Boy, I think Orlando's at home through the remainder of 2024. It's quite a long long homestand. That's another thing, too. They've played 28 games. Only 11 of them have been in Orlando, which is absolutely wild. So they got a lot of home games coming up here. And, of course, you'll hear Magic broadcasts on 1010XL. Jake Chapman is the radio voice of the Orlando Magic. Jake, I know you're busy. Thank you, as always, for the time. Happy holidays to you and your family, and we'll do it again soon.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it, brother. Happy holidays to you. Let's do it again.
Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
And thank you to my buddy Jake Chapman again, Orlando Magic Radio voice of the Magic. Of course, you hear a lot of his broadcasts right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM for joining me tonight here on Hacker After Dark, as Orlando has only played like one game in the last week. They're back on the court tomorrow night. They got a nice homestand. It's a tough homestand, though. It begins with Oklahoma City tomorrow. I know Boston comes in, Miami for a couple, the New York Knicks. It is wild, the caliber of teams that come in. And, again, no Paolo Banchero, no Franz Wagner. Again, Banchero should be back in 2 to 3 weeks, I would imagine. Wagner's going to be a little longer than that, but it'll be curious to see how good Orlando looks come February, March, and certainly April if all of their guys are healthy. They really haven't had all their guys healthy, but for like 4 games this entire year. So we'll see what happens. But even despite all the injuries, 17-11, and the Magic currently sit 4th currently in the Eastern Conference. So we certainly spent some time on that. We spent some time on the AFC South. The Houston Texans are once again AFC South champions, but a lot of questions everywhere else. Indianapolis, is Shane Steichen already on a little bit of a hot seat? Brian Callahan's not on a hot seat in Nashville, I don't think, although people are very unhappy there. Only 14 games into his head coaching tenure, and the Titans have recently benched quarterback Will Levis. Is the Will Levis experiment over in Nashville? We obviously also spent some time on the Jacksonville Jaguars tonight as well, and a little bit on the Florida Gators. The Gators are back on the football field on Friday for their bowl game in Tampa against Tulane, and we talked about that this evening here on Hacker After Dark. Well, that will just about do it. It has been a very busy Wednesday evening here, and we certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us on both 1010XL and 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, Jake Chapman, radio voice of the Orlando Magic for Magic Radio. We certainly appreciate Jake taking time out for us. Thank you to Mike Patton. He is the host of the Touring the AFC South podcast. Always enjoy talking not only Jaguars, but Texans, Colts, and Titans with Mike Patton, and we thank him for his time tonight. And back in hour number 1, my buddy Leon Searcy. You hear him every day on Prime Time. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. And again this Sunday, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Raiders go final, Leon and I will have the 5th quarter for you right here on 1010XL. We will be back tomorrow night on a Thursday, and we will do it all over again beginning at 8 o'clock. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the hacker, Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Wednesday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Wednesday evening, and we will talk to you again tomorrow night on a Thursday beginning at 8 o'clock. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.